Hello, and thank you for watching Accelerate with Nerdio. In today's lesson, I'm going to walk through troubleshooting possible Active Directory domain join errors in Nerdio Manager for MSP. As always, please visit help.nerdio.net for access to all of our amazing content, and check the video description as there may be some links to important articles specific to this topic. With that, let's jump right in. So, by default, when you provision a new VM, it's going to join the Active Directory domain that you specified during the initial installation process. Now, I'm here in Nerdio Manager for MSP. I'm in Settings. I'm in Integrations. And we'll notice that I can actually specify one or multiple Active Directory or Azure Active Directory domain services. So I've got my default set here. This is what it would attempt to join the Active Directory domain using, and then obviously we see the OU here as well. So let's take a step back and let's walk through the process and what could possibly go wrong, right? So first, when the VM is joining, it's created, it's going to obtain DNS server specified on the VNet. It's going to use that AD domain name that we just discussed. It's going to look up the DC using that DNS. It's going to get a DC record. It's going to try to join that domain by connecting using those credentials we just looked at, and then it's going to try to create an AD compute object in that OU that we just talked about. And so I'm actually going to use the article that I'm referencing to kind of talk through how you can troubleshoot this. And I highly recommend grabbing this article if needed. And let's, first and foremost, likely want to make sure that it's not an issue with the OU or with that authentication, right? You can easily go into Nerdio Manager and confirm those settings. You also want to consider reviewing the net setup log on that VM. You want to make sure that DNS is set up properly, it's AD aware. You want to make sure that that VM can communicate with that DNS server right. You want to be able to confirm it can communicate with a domain controller. So again, these can be done from that VM, right? It'll be in a failed AD join state, but the VM's still going to exist. Hopefully you specified local administrator credentials. You can RDP to that VM and do this testing. And then again, the OU, which we looked at before, and the service account, we want to make sure they have the proper options, right? So all of this is to say, definitely use this article as a guide for further troubleshooting, but keep in mind, specifically settings, integrations, Active Directory, making sure that this does align with what the machine is expecting to leverage to be able to join that domain. And so again, article, settings, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to visit help.nerdio.net. Thank you.